I'm Jane Warren, and in my divorce mediation practice, I frequently get asked the question, what do I do to get him or her to realize that it's over? So this is not everybody's situation, but there's a fair number of people where one person will have made the decision that the relationship is over, and the other person is caught off guard by the whole scenario. And although the person who has reached this conclusion will usually tell me that they don't understand how the other person could possibly not realize that the relationship was over, the fact is they haven't realized it, and the message has caught them by surprise. And they're in denial. So they are not engaging in the process at all. They have got their head in their sand. They have their head in the sand, and they're hoping that the whole thing is going to go away. So what do you do when that is a situation that you find yourself in? How do you get the other person to engage? Well, first of all, two things that I want you to think about relative to where they are at. Denial is actually the first stage in the grief cycle. And the grief cycle is the cycle that you go through, everybody goes through. Certainly we've all heard about it relative to somebody dying, but this is kind of like a death in the relationship itself is going through a death. And so you're going to go through the same kind of cycle. And it starts off with denial. So even though they're not doing anything and not being willing to move forward, they are, in a manner of speaking, in the cycle already, in the process already. They're just dealing with the situation in an unhelpful way from your point of view. So that's where they are. You've been there too, although you were in there maybe a long time ago when you very first started thinking about the possibility of separation and divorce, and it floated into your mind, and you kind of went, no, I don't want to go that way, or no, I can fix this, or no, I'm not going, and you kind of pushed it to one side. You've been through your own version of denial. Now they're there too. And hopefully and normally they start to catch up. But right now they're in denial. So the second thing to look at or to ask yourself is, how clearly have you actually delivered the message? Now, when I ask people that, they'll usually tell me, I've been absolutely clear. I've said, I don't think this relationship is viable anymore. I'm not sure I want to be here anymore. And they'll use words like that. And as opposed to saying, it's over. As far as I'm concerned, this relationship is over. Very clean, very clear, no room for hope or possibility is whereas when they say, I think the relationship is over, I'm not comfortable in this relationship, I believe that it's best for us to end this relationship, then there's always hope in those words. However small the hope might be, somebody who is in denial, who doesn't want this to happen, will grasp onto anything and use it as a reason to stay quiet and not do anything and hope that this will blow over. So be aware that you need to make sure that you are delivering the message as cleanly and clearly as you can. And even if you do that, they still may not hear. But at least make sure that you've done that. So then the question is, okay, so you're ready to move forward. They're not. You've made allowance for the fact that they're in denial and are behind you in the whole cycle of getting used to this idea, and hopefully you've given them some time to catch up, and they're still not doing anything. They're still got their head in the sand. What do you do then? Well, what people will often do is they will do something like making an appointment with a mediator. So they'll go through and they'll say, okay, they'll find a mediator. Like, people will come to me. Let's say it's the woman who has made the decision. She'll come to me and we'll talk about how to engage the other person. We'll talk about all the things that we need to talk about at the beginning of a mediation process. And then she will make an appointment for him to come in for the first time. Okay, now this sounds a little manipulative, but it's kind of a way of saying, I've started this process, so I really am serious, and here is, this mediator, I will not see that person, the first person, again before I see their partner, because otherwise it's not mediation. Otherwise there's an imbalance there right away. So I always start by seeing each person on their own first. So I see one person, then I see the other person, and if the other person isn't going to engage, then that's the end of any work that I ever do with those two people. So they make the appointment for that person and invite them to either cancel the appointment or attend the appointment. And most times they attend, sometimes they cancel. Either way, that tells you something. So it's kind of like encouraging them into the process in a way that doesn't require them to make a phone call, make an appointment, this kind of thing. If that doesn't work, then what I encourage people to do is to go to their lawyer and ask their lawyer to write what I call an invitation letter. So it's basically a letter that says, your spouse has consulted me about representing them through their divorce. They would really like to do this through mediation, and I think it's a good idea too. And we would invite you to let us know what you would like to do relative to a mediation or other process, and please let us know within the next couple of weeks. So I encourage you to encourage your lawyer to make the tone very inviting and not threatening, but nevertheless, it is saying you need to do something because they are serious about moving forward, and the fact that you've even consulted with a lawyer will often be enough to get the other person to realize, okay, I guess they're really serious, and to move forward and to engage in a process as well. Of course, if after that they still won't engage, then you have got to go through legal means to start court proceedings and use those to basically force the other person to engage. But hopefully it doesn't get to that sort of situation. So those are some of the considerations to think about when you're faced with a situation where your spouse is in denial about the ending of the relationship.